Okay. Mr. Simmons.
Here.
Mr. Trevino.
Here.
Mr. Graham.
Here.
Mr. Swanner is absent. Mr. Dryden.
Here.
Mr. Nail.
Too much.
Yeah.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Announcements?
None.
None. Public comments?
None.
None. Number 5, consent agenda.
So I think there's a couple of things. One, the alcohol revenue is a lot less. I think I'd like to pull these out to talk about them from the consent agenda.
Okay.
The alcohol intake for taxes on those beverages was considerably lower. I guess maybe that's because we used to have a couple of different facilities that were doing that, and now we only have one. Or
Yeah, I've been wanting to reach out to Zach Tax. I can do a little more detail for us, because I'm not exactly certain why it was a drop. I did notice that it increased towards the end of the year in the summer months, which would be typical, obviously, with the lake and boaters. But we also saw an increase in our sales tax at that same time, too. Because at the first beginning of the fiscal year, I was concerned. And I think I stressed that to council a couple times in the monthly financial reports, because our sales tax had dropped quite a bit within the first 3 or 4 months of the first 6-month period. But the mixed beverage just never caught up. And I don't have an answer for you on that right now, but I'll try and do some digging in to see why.
I don't know whatever happened, because Country Club Cafe at one point was going to have their own private, yeah, but I don't know if that ever even got off the ground.
My understanding it did. They did get a license for private beverages, but I'm not certain if that's the reason why we saw a drop.
Right, because it's not there anymore.
Right.
So that may be it, I don't know.
But I'll definitely, I want to coordinate with Zach Tax and see if we can find out exactly why.
Yeah, mainly if we need to adjust our budget, it's, you know, we probably will, I guess, adjust the budget sometime in this fiscal year, and so we may need to take that into consideration as one reason I'm bringing it up.
Well, I was conservative in the estimate though for the current fiscal year.
Okay.
So
it may not be an issue.
Right.
All right, and then the other was the license for software. Obviously, we added Everbridge. It wasn't budgeted for, which is fine. You know, we can adjust for that.
Right.
I don't think it's even though it's a large percentage difference, it's really not that big of a dollar difference. But I think we just need to continue to advertise that both in our bulletins and on our website, just make sure.
And we've done it routinely. Although we didn't have it in last year's budget, that's why there was such a difference.
Right.
But we did include it in this current fiscal year budget, so you shouldn't have the same issue.
Right. But now we're addressing the advertising, just making sure we get the word out.
Right.
That way the bang for the buck's there.
Exactly.
So people know about it.
Okay.
Like on the website and newsletter. Yeah, you're going to repeat yourselves quite a bit, I think, to make sure people know that we have that as a service now.
Okay.
I've got some questions on the financials. When do we get the Encore franchise tax? Because that's the only thing that...
Did I not show it in there?
Well, we've gotten zeroed. And we budgeted $6,800.
Which one, are you on the September report?
Yes, September.
Page 104.
You know, I actually think that came in the current fiscal year. Let me double check on that. I do believe we received that, but it was after the past fiscal year. I'll follow up on that for you then.
All right. Then we talked about, so for example, on page 2 of 4, road and drainage, there was a large expense, but we had talked about putting that under major projects, because we've got basically what looks to be way over budget for road and drainage, but way under budget for major projects. So we discussed recategorizing, recoding that, because I think it would be more appropriate to properly reflect that change.
You're on page 3.
Page 2 of 4 and 3 of 4. So 9015-10, halfway down the page or so, under town engineer, 901510, road and drainage.
Yeah, that was engineering cost. So why would we want to recategorize engineering cost?
Isn't that part of a major project that we've got $142,000 budgeted for? It appears like we're not spending as much when we are on
Yeah,
projects.
I mean, we usually our contracts for road and drainage, you would have under, on page 3, you have your annual maintenance, if you go all the way down to 9110,
Right, but the next one down is major projects.
which,
That's
you
part
know,
of
if
a
you do a
major
major project like, what we just did with WOPAC, I mean, we did 2 major projects with WOPAC, which was right around $100,000. So typically, I mean, I'll do it any way y'all prefer.
I just don't know
But
why
when I look at this-
we're not properly showing that expense as a project. It is a significant project of engineering.
Yeah, but the budget always has broken out engineering costs versus project costs, capital cost. But if you want to combine the two.
Engineering, I can understand, we just have normal ongoing engineering, but this was a special engineering project, was it not?
Yeah, I mean, we can add it back in there, but I don't think the town would ever spend $87,000 just on day-to-day engineering, unless it was a major project, because that's what you have budgeted, $87,000 road and drainage for engineering.
So where did road and,
So if you go back up to 9015-10, road and drainage, you have a budget of $87,169 for road and drainage.
Where at now?
okay.
Go back to page 2, look at 9015, town engineer.
So we actually budgeted $87,000 for engineering for road and drainage, and we spent
8,000, yes.
So then what was the budget? Why was it $87,000?
Well, but we did ask at the last council meeting that the KSA take over the management of the roads
Okay.
and drainage, so I don't know that it's going to affect us that, I don't know. We can always make changes later, but I would expect them to start billing us for the hours that they're helping with the.
Has
Well, just like
KSA
that-
done any work for?
Oh, yeah, I put that in my report to you, which is in your packet. They've been out and they visited with, 2 of the property owners over, I believe it's Vista Oaks, regarding the drainage concerns. So that would be a separate bill, and I would put it underneath road and drainage town engineer.
Yeah, I don't know yet whether it'd be all the 87,000.
Or do we know what that dollar figure is?
I guess what I'm getting at is, it doesn't hurt for it to be there now, and then we can adjust it once we see what their run rate is.
Okay, that's fine. Then I had another question. In looking at the check detail,
Are we still on the September report?
yes,
Okay.
well, September and October.
Okay.
There's an amount going to a card service center. Is that a credit card?
Yes,
Is that a town credit card?
that's a town credit.
Can you start including that credit card statement like other things? Because right now, we're not really seeing how that particular money is
Yeah,
coded.
the mayor signs off on that, but we'll include it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just, that's the only thing that's, like I see the checks get double signed, but since that's an EFT, it's,
Yeah, the mayor always sees the credit card statements when he signs off on it. He signs off on the
so he
credit-
does sign off on the credit
Yes, he
card
does.
statements too? Okay.
So do you want to still include it in the package?
No, I just wanted to make sure that, because it's a large amount every month.
Yeah, yes, it is.
I just want to make sure it's just not a true electronic fund transfer that nobody's looking at.
We'll include it in the packet.
And then the payments to Edward Jones, I thought is that for SEP?
Yeah, we had a check that was still outstanding that we finally resolved, so it was still in QuickBooks.
Okay.
And it
We
was-
stopped that.
Yes, we resolved it. It was a payment that, it was the last payment was supposed to go to Roz, and we couldn't figure out why. We had sent the check. So we had to go back and certainly check. Obviously, it wasn't going to be processed, and we recut the check to Edward Jones about 2 months ago, I think, 2 or 3 months ago. So we're done.
Okay,
But
I
it
just didn't know why we were still seeing that.
It was a check that was cut, sent to Edward Jones for some reason. We don't know where it ended up. So we went through all the steps to make certain that it wouldn't be processed with the bank, and then we cut it a final check to Edward Jones, so
Got it.
close out that account.
Okay, those were my questions. Anybody else have any questions on the consent agenda items?
So 5.2, in October, you've got the budget versus actuals, and when we go into October, November, you don't have a budget versus actuals. Is there a reason?
Are you talking about like the QuickBooks report?
Yep.
Yeah, so when we set up the budget, the current fiscal year that we're in, the budget was entered a little bit differently, where, say like property tax, we had property tax collections of 444,000. What happened is that they started breaking out a certain, it took 12 months, evened it out. So when I started to run the report, instead of showing year to date, or instead of showing the entire budget, it was breaking out the budget number for just that particular month. So I gotta go back, realign the QuickBooks budget so it produces the same type of report that you've been seeing previously. So if I was to produce a report for you this evening, it would show you collections, but it would show you like $30,000 budget for the month of October, and that's really not what we want to show. We want to show the entire budget, so I'm going to go back and correct
Is
that.
that a QuickBooks change then?
Yes. I really didn't like the way the report was generating. There was a lot of duplicate information on there. We're going to go back and change it, so it's a little bit cleaner like the report you had.
Question last month about the transfer.
That was addressed on the investment statement for the
Third quarter.
Got it.
So, yes, that was addressed. Any other questions on consent agenda items?
153 now.
Okay.
So on 5.6 it was addressed?
Yes,
Okay.
it's in the revised third quarter investment report. There's a footnote in there,
Hmm.
or a bullet point.
Are these numbers, Scott,
Which one?
on 5.6, when, I guess, for the
What?
investment of the third quarter, so page 1 of 5.6? It's technically page 2, but page 1 after the memo. Are these the tax pool investment pool? and the
Well, so
tax-
you're on 5/6 of the quarter.
Yes.
Yes.
Is this a direct screenshot or a copy and paste of the data that tax pool provides? So,
The actual statements are included.
they
Yes.
are? Okay. I guess I didn't.
That's a summary statement from the textbook.
The actual statements from tax pool.
This thing?
No,
No,
I mean-
that was my question, is that the actual statement from tax pool, or is this
No.
data entered?
That's data entry that I've entered, but you do have the statements attached to your monthly financial reports.
The supporting statements are
Right.
in there.
Okay.
So they do.
My
reconcile.
apologies, it's a full quarter's worth of.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but just, it's this one right here. But it's in your packet.
Okay. I see that too. Okay. Cool, that's all I had. Thank you.
And you won't see two tax pool accounts anymore. There's just one.
Well, there are still two tax pool accounts.
Is it just?
We just don't have, no. So So David, I know we talked about just having one. Ken came in and he said, no, he wants to keep two. But we all agreed to transfer the majority of the funds to Textbook Prime because it was generating more interest for the town.
Okay.
Kent did not want to get rid of the second.
So there's still 20 grand, not 19, 20 grand?
Yeah, he did not want to get rid of it. He said, keep it, keep a minimum amount in there, so that's what I did. We were going to transfer all the funds, so you get Textpool Prime and Textpool. And in original conversations, we talked about transferring all the funds from Textpool to Textpool Prime. And then Kent came in and said, no, I want to keep a minimum amount in Textpool. And so we kept it right around $20,000 and everything else went to Textpool Prime. So,
Was that just to keep the account open?
keep it open, but I think it still allowed the town a little more flexibility if we wanted to put more funds back in the Textpool.
Okay.
He really wasn't very clear on it. He just said, I'll keep 20. I said, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see some clarification on that logic.
It'd probably be better for him to speak, because I can't.
Okay, no, yeah, I'd like to hear, I mean, I guess he's absent and,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what he wanted, that's what I did.
okay. I guess, okay.
I didn't talk to him about it, so I don't know what the logic was.
Yeah, I guess I could send him an email and see what the reasoning for that was. Are we subject to any type of fees if there's money not going in?
No, I wish I would have. There is one minor change between Textpool and Textpool Prime. It has to do with what the monies can be invested in. I think it's cash or something like that. It's not that god-awful risky. Liquidity's still pretty much the same. What I was trying to do, just like what we do with the checking accounts, is get everything down to one account because you don't have a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot easier to track and manage when you have, you're going to have one investment account and one checking account, that's it. You know, I don't see there being any significant risk if you just go to one.
On 5.7 on the consent agenda was the KSA proposal executed.
No, it was 5.7.
It's the minutes from last,
What was the case?
6.1, so on the third page of 5.7.
I don't have the minutes in front of me. I left them up here for Kent to sign.
Regular and possible action regarding a proposal from KSA to provide engineering services to the role of program manager for town-owned roadways
Yes.
and drainage.
Yes.
We've executed it.
Yes.
So, we're gonna go back and approve one from last month's.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it's on here too, right?
No, I know, but don't, so after we review it, don't we have to, do we have to accept it?
Yeah, I would think so, as part of the consent agenda. Or if we want to call it out, we can.
It's just because it's open.
That's fine, if you want to call it out.
Okay.
Because we separated it out last time, those budgets, approving the budgets and the consent agenda last time, it's with
Okay.
custom traders.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda for month of December to include last month's consent agenda 5.1, where we were not approving 5.1 consent agenda pending financial reports.
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to mention is that in the past we talked about, we're approving the acceptance of the data.
Yes.
So that would be my only amendment to the motion.
So we're just approving 5.1.
We're approving the consent agenda for this month and last month, because last month we didn't approve 5.1 and the previous, in, what was it, November?
Yeah, November.
But all I'm calling out is that we're approving the acceptance of the data
For September.
for all of it.
All of it? Okay.
You want to just start over? I mean, I can do it if you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I motion that we accept the consent agenda for this month as well as November's consent agenda with covering November's outstanding items that we did not approve. And we are approving the acceptance of the data from the town staff.
Not October.
Now, I'm talking about the entire consent agenda for this month and the entire consent agenda from last month, which should
Okay.
include all of these items.
Okay.
5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5,
Okay.
6 and 7.
and 6 and 7. 5,
Okay.
6, 5, 7.
So we're approving the entire consent agenda.
Yes.
Amen.
For this month, and then, well, all it was calling out is that last month,
On 5.1.
on 5.1, we did not approve it
Okay.
in consent agenda for last
Okay.
month.
So Robert's motion, second?
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 6.1, discussion and possible action regarding ordinance number 29425-1208, amending ordinance to ensure compliance with House Bill 1522, Kent's Water.
I can't speak to these unless Clark can. I just put them on the agenda because Ken asked me to put them on the agenda, but I never received
All right,
anything.
since Kent's not here, I'm going to recommend we table 6.1 and 6.2.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
6.1, 6.2 are temporary table. Discussion and possible action regarding ordinance number 295-25-12-08, rescinding ordinance 6 and 131, designating an official town newspaper.
This seems minor. This obviously came up during our last budget process where we had a scheduled date, I believe it was September 8th, where we were going to meet and consider adopting the property tax rate and the budget. And unfortunately, Collins Central Appraisal District missed the date for forwarding the notice to the Wiley newspaper, so we needed to reschedule. If we had the flexibility where we had adopted the Wiley newspaper as our official town newspaper through a resolution, we could have used the Dallas Morning News to republish the notice, which would have allowed us to keep our scheduled date of September the 8th. However, the town has had a pattern of adopting their official newspaper by ordinance, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you adopt our resolution, this obviously gives you a little more flexibility, that if you ever have something like this that happens again in the future, if you want to use a different newspaper, you can. That's why items 6.3 and 6.4 are in front of you this evening.
So in 6.3, we're rescinding?
Here, because there's two ordinances currently. Town has ordinance 6 and ordinance 131 designating the Wiley newspaper as the town's official newspaper. And just be on the safe side, I thought we'd rescind them and then consider resolution 2512-08B under 6.4 designating the Wiley newspaper as your official newspaper.
And this needed to happen. I guess, I appreciate you bringing this up. I have a question for you, Mr. Clark. Is it normal for us to rescind ordinances?
It's not abnormal for council to rescind, or another word for it would be repeal ordinances. No, it's not unusual.
It happens from time to time. It's not like a regular basis every month type thing, but from time to time where we just need to wholesale remove one because it's in the way, and in this case, it's in the way of what we're trying to do, to be more flexible with the newspaper in case we run into this situation again.
Do we have a copy of ordinance 6 and number ordinance 131 handy so we can review it? Was it included in here?
No, I didn't, but I can print out a copy for you if you'd like real quick.
Anybody else like to see it?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Okay, you
Yeah,
want to print out one copy? or-
Yeah, that's fine, if
Okay.
you don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you.
So 131 and 6?
Number 6 and 131. Just want to make sure that we're... was this ordinance ran through or reviewed by you, Mr. Clark, or
No.
your office?
No, sir.
Okay.
Seems like we're just kind of going in a circle, repealing one and then adopting another.
Well, the new one gives you the ability to, because we're not going to declare it by ordinance, it gives us the ability to just have a resolution,
Okay.
which should go, I guess the theory is that goes faster than an ordinance.
So, yeah, I guess because we missed the deadline, or the deadline was missed for Wiley to publish it.
Okay. So we're removing an ordinance, creating a resolution.
Yeah.
To cover it.
Rescinding 2 ordinances and replacing by 1, which is why I'm like, well, let me see both of them, make sure that we're abreast of all the information.
Okay, that makes more sense, thank you.
Would that speed up the process if we're in a situation with the county and they won't go forward because we have Wiley News and not Dallas News?
Well, the choice of newspaper, obviously it can make a difference in how fast you
Sure.
get things published.
Right.
But in terms of whether the official paper is adopted by ordinance or resolution, in terms of making a change on that, pivoting to a different paper, you'd still have to take the same amount of time to adopt a new ordinance or a new resolution. So I'm not exactly sure what the rationale is, but it's not uncommon for cities to use resolutions.
Sure.
To designate a paper. You have to use an ordinance, though. If you have an ordinance on the books, you have to use an ordinance to repeal or rescind it under the equal dignity rule.
Right.
You can't use a resolution to repeal an ordinance. But in this case, the procedural process is appropriate because it's an ordinance now you're considering to rescind/repeal what's on the books, and then you're adopting a resolution kind of from fresh start.
No, I do know that the way it was handled could have been more efficient when it came to the Wiley newspaper. But for all intents and purposes, this needed to happen. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like there's an advantage of doing this though. And perhaps what we really should be doing is just making it to where we could use Wiley East, or Wiley newspaper and,
Yeah, it was
Or
actually
it should be
ordinance 131.
that's the catch-all.
Yeah.
131's like everything. So we can't rescind that. I think that maybe that'd be the better direction is, and I don't care if it's through resolution or through ordinance, but to make it to where we could use Wiley News or, and I think it's important to use the word or, we could use Wiley News or Dallas News. Is that acceptable to have an or statement in the 2 papers?
I believe the statute requires you to adopt an official newspaper
So just one.
for all of their official
Okay.
publications.
So maybe, this has happened twice since I've been on, so it doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. And so maybe it's better for us to go ahead and adopt Dallas News, Dallas Morning News.
That's pretty expensive.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
expensive.
I was gonna voice
Okay.
a little bit about that. One is that's
Okay.
expensive, and 2 is,
So it's real basic.
we're supporting the local newspaper and all that the other way.
Right.
But the resolution allows flexibility to use.
I would designate one of them as the official paper and maybe have language that in the event that the official paper is not available to make the publication timely, that you have the authority to publish it in the other paper.
I don't see that in the resolution.
No, it's not this one, we'll have to update it.
So,
You could approve that as to form, and then Scott and I can work together to bring the resolution into shape.
Okay,
Approve it as to legal form
okay.
would be the motion.
That works.
And then you're gonna work it and bring it before us and we officially approve the resolution?
You wouldn't have to bring it back if you did it that way.
Okay.
If you just voiced in the motion what it needs to say,
Okay.
and then approve that as to legal form for your legal counsel to
Legal form, okay.
draft it in accordance with the motion.
Yeah. So, I mean, first we've got to rescind these, or what are we doing, what order of things? make sure we get this in the right order.
Well, 6.3 was rescinded, it does say 6 and 131. Where did I get 161? So the correct ordinances are in there.
Well, 131 is a huge one though, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 is small, but 131 I thought was a large.
6 is 1973.
The 131, I thought 131 was like a really large one. I guess I'm thinking of a different one maybe. That's all at 131 is?
Yep. I think you're thinking of, it's 130?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
130 is a very large one.
That's, I probably said.
It's a zoning.
Yeah, that's the one that's really big, okay, gotcha.
It's hard to figure out 130. Oh, all right.
Because it was amended 45 times.
So this one's just
Okay.
naming, this is naming it, and this
So you
is.
have that right. The agenda's right.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know why I said 161.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'll make the motion that we.
I got a
Oh,
question.
sorry, go ahead.
So it says
Caught me
ordinance,
just in the nick of time.
it says ordinance 295, but it's really 294.
It's true.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then also it has a penalty clause section, and it's saying there's gonna be a $500, I guess, punishment for each incident of the violation. That, I don't see how that applies to a repealing an ordinance. That doesn't make a lot of
Are you
sense.
looking at 6.3?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on
Well,
the, it's on
just-
page 2.
I guess, it is interesting, we have a penalty clause in there, but I guess what that's trying to say is if somebody tries to use these ordinances that have been rescinded to do something, then.
If there's a penalty?
Penalized.
It's not legally required to have a penalty clause in an ordinance like this, so if you didn't want to, you could include that in the motion to strike that section.
Are we, but we're rescinding the ordinance.
You can repeal an ordinance
Or
without.
we're rescinding, so that really
You can
doesn't.
repeal an ordinance without having a penalty clause.
6.3. Yeah.
I mean, this is a new ordinance that he's referring to, right? He's referring to the new ordinance that.
I'm
has-
referring to the resolution.
Okay. Well, I
We're not
think,
sure.
right now we're on 6.3,
Yeah.
so you're referring to 6.3?
Yes.
And that's the that's not the resolution, it's the ordinance.
Any violation of this ordinance, what violation?
Oh,
would
yeah,
it be?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta strike that out.
It's on the simple violations. That's weird.
You want me to motion to take that out?
Yeah.
Okay.
we get it then.
So I motion that we accept ordinance number 294-25-12.
Wait, 294.
295.
It says 294 up here.
It should be 295, should be 295-25-12.
Okay, so this is, says 294 on the,
Should be 295.
Yeah. Represent it with corrected.
I just,
So
I
far-
motion, I think, unless you guys want to talk this through more, I motion that we table this for the next meeting. I think, and with the direction that we want to have the resolution worked with Clark's office so that it can state that we want a primary of Wiley News and we want to be able to have the flexibility if Wiley News cannot meet the deadlines needed, that we would use the Dallas Morning News as the alternative.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
You did see where it says 294 instead of 2.
Yeah. Yes.
So 6.3 is tabled, vote 6.4.
6.4.
Discussion of possible action regarding resolution number 25-12-08.
It's the follow on to 6.3.
Table 6.4.
So I motion we table 6.4.
Second.
All?
Aye.
All right, 6.5, discussion regarding legal costs. This is not mine, I don't know why you put me on here, I have no idea.
He did ask for it about a month or two ago, and I haven't completed all the work, but he did ask for further detail on legal costs. About a month or two ago.
I recall other council members asking about it, but it was not me.
Okay. Also,
But if that's mine, I can rescind it, that's not on my agenda.
I don't
Maybe it's OBE at this point, because I think we moved on.
Okay, so
Is it, well, I mean, who is it? If it wasn't you, who?
I don't recall.
I don't know, it doesn't matter at this point, because
No.
do we need to review it at this point? I think that we've moved on since then. We reviewed you have the,
What was asked, so if you remember, we provided legal costs in groups previously, because you'd asked us to track it. And then when we presented those costs to you, you asked us to even bring it further if we had costs that were associated with like 3990.
Okay, now cost allocation is different than just
Yeah.
general legal costs.
Right, so,
I did want to see cost allocation for projects, yes.
okay,
But that's not just,
okay,
I mean, legal costs are part of that, but that's engineering costs, stuff like that too.
okay,
So, yeah, that was me,
okay.
but that was cost allocation for projects, not just discussion regarding legal costs.
Okay. I'll go back and we'll work on cost allocation by project.
All right, so what do we need to do for 6.5?
Nothing.
No action. No action on 6.5? All right, 6.6, discussion regarding status of the municipal court. Larry?
Mr. Albert, what's the status?
I put that in my monthly report.
So we have Travis doing rounds yet, or?
Yes, he was supposed to come back out. We met with Travis towards the end of October. We talked about a way forward. We redid the courtesy letters. There were a few properties we talked about that he followed up on, and he should have done a second rounds this week for the second courtesy letter to follow up if necessary. But I haven't heard back since then.
So we're all obstacles are out of the way, and we're
moving ahead.
moving ahead.
Yes,
And we're paying them.
We've been
yes.
paying them for,
Quarterly payments, I think
Yeah.
it's somewhere around 1,700 a quarter or something like that.
What was the official date that we were live with the court?
I'd have to go back and look, JT would be 100% certain on that. I think,
it's been 3 months.
October, well, in your report, it says October 23rd, you met with code enforcement.
yeah, but the courts were
The court started
before
last
that, yeah.
quarter. I think it's been 3 months since we
But
started.
it took us about a month or so to meet with our code enforcement officer.
Any other questions, Larry?
No, sir.
None? Other questions? All right. 6.7, town administrator monthly report.
We hear anything from the traffic control devices being put up?
Oh, the traffic, I haven't heard a word, no.
Is there anything in developing and zoning in your report that you need to expand on or we need to discuss?
No.
On page 3 in your drainage, in your report on drainage, town engineers met with the owners of 2411 Hickory Lane and 1916 Bayside. What neighborhood is that?
Visto.
Is that the one down at the past you?
One's Ernie on the corner, yeah, down past me, and then Bayside's on the other side.
So he's just met with them, but
I haven't heard.
do we have a resolution? Do we have any?
Aviel is going, supposedly he's preparing a memorandum that council had asked. The last time I spoke with Aviel, he said he would address both these issues in his letter memorandum to council. Because I guess council had asked for a report from him.
I'd still like to get that walkthrough with him,
Okay.
for the same reason.
I will.
Because, I mean, that's upstream of where the Hickory Lane discussion was. I don't know if you walked up there or not.
Yes, I'm aware of it.
No, I'm saying, but you know if he
Oh,
walked up
oh,
from
no.
Hickory or?
No, but I will email him tomorrow to get in touch with you.
Please.
Any other questions for town administrator on 6.7?
I do not.
I had a stalker radar, so I guess you wanted to hear back from Councilman Trevino. Have you been able to get back?
At this time, we'll hold off on commenting on that.
Okay.
Until I get clarification.
Okay.
Everybody good with 6-7? Now, executive session is authorized by Chapter 551, Subchapter D of the Texas Government Code. The regular meeting will be convened into a closed executive under the following exceptions. Texas Government Code Section 551-071, consult with legal counsel regarding pending or contemplated litigation and/or on matters which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with Chapter 551 of the Government Code, City Code, regulations, and other ordinance. You shopping plaza, et cetera, and others against the illness of in Texas Government Code 501-072, et cetera. So,
Is that it?
I guess that's it. Oh, we got to take it. All right, we're back in open session. No action items from the executive session. Anybody want to give a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion we adjourn.
Okay. I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.